Okay, so our first paper in this panel will be by Zahreddine from ULB. And she is going to be talking to us about why would you like to share your research data, starting with the basics today. Okay, so sorry, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Catherine. Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah Zahreddine, and I'm a research data manager and research data officer at ULB. And as you said, I will be talking about why you should share your research data. Let me just share my screen. All right, so open data is, or sharing your data is part of a broader category that is called open science, which is an approach of scientific research based on open collaborative work and systematic sharing of knowledge and tools as early and widely as possible in the research process. And it has the potential to make research more collaborative, more transparent, more reliable, and more efficient by sharing results, improving their reproducibility, and making them more reusable. And there are many practices, many formal practices in open science. For example, during your literature review, you can share a reading list on a topic, for example, by Zotero. You can use an open software, you can use an open lab notebook. And when it comes to disseminating your results, you can release your preprints online, and you can also publish in an open access journal. But also you can decide to share your data or making it open access, which will be the focus of this presentation. So today, some funding agencies are requiring open access to publications and data. Open science is a policy priority for the European Commission, and the standard method of working under its research and innovation funding programs, as it improves the quality, efficiency, and responsiveness of research. And the Commission requires beneficiaries of research and innovation funding to make their publication available in open access. So this is for Horizon 2020, and to publish in open access journals, in open access journals for Horizon Europe. At ULB, we have a open access policy, which is based on the Wallonia-Brussels Federation Open Access Decree, and which requires researchers to upload their full text of publications to the ULB repository, which is Diffusion. So this is regarding open access. Now, regarding open data, open access to data, the Commission requires beneficiaries to deposit at the same time as the publication the research data needed to validate the results presented in the deposited scientific publications. And ideally, it should be in a data repository. And we say the data should be as open as possible or as closed as necessary, because sometimes we cannot share everything. We cannot make publicly available everything, because some data contains sensitive information. Also now, researchers are required to create what we call a data management plan. And this document includes strategies that you will implement during your whole research project on how you will manage your data. So you'll have to answer questions such as what type of data you will create or collect, who will be responsible for it, where you store it, etc. And also, despite funding agencies such as the European Commission, some publishers now require us to deposit the data along with the article to verify results. So why are we giving so much importance for sharing data and open access to data? Because there are a lot of benefits to it. First, sharing data reinforces open scientific inquiry. So making data openly available decreases the potential for disagreements among researchers and allows scientific inquiry to progress without restrictions, to the benefit of the entire research community. Second, sharing data helps the broader community and individual researchers do better research. By sharing data, researchers support both their own research and the broader research community, resulting in science that is more accurate, more open, more knowledgeable, and has more resources at its disposal. Sharing data supports the verification and replication of original results. So by making data available, it can be used to verify or replicate published results. Verification can reinforce the original results, or it can expose errors. But either outcome, it helps strengthen and protect the integrity of scientific record. Sharing data promotes transparency and accountability, which lessens the potential for purposeful falsification or distortion of data. It also allows reusers to detect unintentional errors, and the expectation that others may be verifying data should encourage greater care in original analysis. Sharing data promotes new research and allows for the testing of new or alternative methods. While data creators may have one research question in mind, the same data may be used to answer other questions. Sharing data preserves data for future use. So if a researcher makes the data available for sharing within a data repository, when they can be sure that this data will be available and understandable for the long term, for their own use, but also for others' use. Sharing data encourages collaboration and multiple perspectives. So it can begin conversations between researchers across disciplines, and this could lead to cross-disciplinary collaborations or the exchange of knowledge across fields that could result in new innovative research approaches. It can also provide important teaching resources. Data are extremely valuable pedagogical tools, so instructors may use data in analytical exercises, or students may model their own work after high-quality data examples. It can also provide students with first-hand experience in verifying results. An important benefit is that it can reduce costs by avoiding duplicate data collection efforts, and avoiding unintended duplicate data collection saves both researchers and respondents valuable time and resources, and frees up researchers' funds for other projects. Lastly, sharing data enhances the visibility and overall impact of research projects. So by making research data available within a data repository, it can increase the visibility of research products and increase the impact of a project by encouraging secondary analysis of the data. It can also increase a researcher's citation rate. So sharing data does not only benefit the broader community, but also produces potential career benefits for researchers. In order to make data sharing beneficial to others, data should be in line with what we call the FAIR principles. So to the greatest extent possible, the data should be findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. By findable, we mean that the data should be assigned a persistent identifier, so a DOI, just like journal articles, and be described with rich metadata that are available online, a searchable source, and also be assigned some keywords. By accessible, we mean that the data should be deposited in a trusted repository and be retrievable by their DOI. And in addition, access restrictions and conditions should be clear, and metadata should be available even if the data itself is not accessible. And by making data accessible, it doesn't mean that you are making data open to anyone. You can choose who can have access and under what conditions. Interoperable means that the data should use recognized standards to facilitate data exchanges and combinations, and should also include references to other relevant data. And to make data reusable, it should be sufficiently described and documented in accordance with community standards. So including information about how, why, by whom, and when the data were created, and clearly licensed, so secondary users can know what they can and cannot do with your data. So If there are so many benefits for sharing data, why aren't all researchers sharing their data? Because there are also multiple challenges or obstacles that can affect researchers' ability or willingness to share their data. First, it takes time and effort to make data shareable. Making data publicly available can be a labor-intensive and time-consuming process because you need to make it as fair as possible, like we talked about the FAIR principles. And so it leads to the next challenge, which is there's a lack of experience and knowledge of data management among researchers. There's also a perceived risk from loss of control of the data, because by sharing data, researchers may believe they are relinquishing control over their data, and this can raise concerns that they may be scooped or another researcher could discover errors in their data and could reach contradictory conclusions or misuse the data. But this challenge can be overcome by attaching a proper license to it and to be more careful in data collection and organization. There's also a problem with data contain confidential or sensitive information, which is basically collected from human subjects, which can contain protected health information, personally identifiable information, and researchers are responsible for protecting this sensitive data. But in some cases, de-identifying data may be an option, such as the process of anonymization or pseudo-anonymization, but this can also be a labor-intensive process. There is also a lack of incentives for sharing data, apart from requirements from some funding organisms and publishers. But most importantly, the current academic culture lacks the incentive structure to properly reward researchers who share their data. Researchers gain career advancement through publishing articles, often based on data. However, there's currently not a similar reward system for publishing the data themselves, which should be something to develop in the future. The only kind of reward system that is in place is data citation. So when you share your data with secondary users, they will have to cite you in their work, which it will increase your citation rates, like your article citation rates, which will increase your visibility and open career opportunities. Luckily at ULB, we have developed a support system to overcome these challenges, such as a website, including information about research data management, how to make your data fair and shareable, in addition to trainings and individual support. And we are also part of a big project developed by the Fédération Wallonie-Bruxelles, which is called the Data Ambassador Project. It consists of building a community of researchers who advocate for open data and good data management practices in their faculties and research centers. And I believe such support should be implemented in every research institution. I mean, I hope so, in order to motivate researchers to share their data and help them overcome any challenges they may face. Thank you.